Howdy, cadre. Oh, let's try and do a little bit better this time. Eek. Don't like seeing that in the background. Oh, they got some flamethrowers there. Feeling trapped. Compulsions. Am I a victim to compulsions? Alright. I still haven't automated research, and that's the biggest... that's the biggest change from normal. How I would normally play this. This emptied? Okay, we're picking these up. I thought it made sense. But the storage with chests is just a whole lot denser for the real estate, for the square footage. I'm probably, getting some research going. Yeah, I'm still making this stuff manually, which just really doesn't make sense. It slows me down because you can only make one thing at a time, and I don't have much queued up, but at times you end up with way too much queued up, and you're just waiting for it. So yeah, I've got this whole upper quarter that I can use to automate research, and I realize that some of it can be shifted down here, even into this small area, because I think this is enough steel production down here. And so far, I've just been filling up resources. I've got all these chests full of copper, iron, and steel. Not so much steel, but it's coming. Our copper mine still, we're still using our original copper mine, but our original iron mine is gone. We're now pulling it up. Maybe I've shown you that. I don't know. It's coming up from way down south. I guess I could. This is probably a good way to update. So yeah, our defenses walls along, or with the red. Here is the coverage of the gun turrets. Yeah, I really need. I think the. Anyways, what was my point? Oh, that's power. That's really all I can show you that helps much. This is oil. Down here we're pulling from iron all the way from down here, but if you have the land secured, it's just real easy to run conveyors, so and I've just been stockpiling oil as well. I have started with 4 chemical plants, started making just solid fuel for no new reason. We could switch to burning that at some point. We're making batteries here, sulfur here, which is a resource. I mean, it's a solid ingredient made from the sulfur. No, is that made straight? That's straight petroleum gas. Okay. But it's an ingredient along with coal and water for explosives. So we're making explosives here too, and plastic. I got plenty of plastic on me. anyways, again, I set that all up just so we could start making some of those ingredients, materials. I'm kind of trying real hard to deplete the coal here. Just again by stockpiling it into chests. These are all full, and yeah, we're filling these up. These are a loop, so as long as this stays full, these will keep filling up. But if this depletes, like if some of those empty or demand increases, then these in the row above will keep this row full, just so we make sure the power's on and all the furnaces we need are going. So yeah, we're getting attacks along this side, kind of spread out. A few spitters cause damage, but and you know, some of our walls are damaged. Those I'm not worried about. We got a really big solar grid set up in the northeast. Maybe we could use, let's see. Yeah, we're getting a whole lot of our power from the sun now. Well, I guess, no, that's blue here. Did that switch? Yes, interesting. So this factors in over time. Over time, I've relied on the steam more, but recently I switched to solar, so it switches color. The blue for solar seems to make sense more anyways. So it looks like maybe 2/3 of our energy is coming from solar. And we're not really using our accumulators. I think that's yellow here at the bottom, yeah. We're just essentially drawing on solar in the day, which is 2/3 of the time, and switching to the steam engines at night, which is all well and good. Our production demands are satisfied, which is still easy to do. It's good to see that we have, you know, three times the production capacity that we're using, and the accumulators are still important in case. Oh no, we don't have lasers yet. That's the one thing. All right. We need the blue, don't we? That's kind of what we're waiting for. No? Did we already research it? I've forgotten my keys. Okay, we definitely don't have it. What was the next step? Laser. Okay. So we've got optics and the blue science researched. We need 30 blue science to get the laser. Yep, and then we also need, or is that 30 times 100? Wait, 30's a time. We need 100 of each. And it's going to take, I don't know what the time duration is, but it's probably going to take 3,000 of those ticks. Those time lengths. And another 150 adding the military. Okay, so yeah, yeah, I felt compelled not to start this automation because I was going to share it with you, and maybe that's a little excessive. Unnecessary, overboard. Okay, so yeah, we have to do more research. We're trying to get the reds and the greens. If we automate those, I can stop making them by hand. So the blues, this is what's holding me up, is the engines. Engines and advanced circuits I need for blue science. I can make this by hand, but the engines I can't. So I need to automate engines before I automate blue science. Did I automate? No. Why would I automate military science when I haven't automated any science? There's no automated science. Okay, so the goal is to feed the red here. The red is on the right. So it would probably be easiest to feed it if it's turned. So the right side is the top side before it's turned. So, yeah, if that's going to be our output, we're going to use, I guess, assembling machine 2. They're 50% faster. I guess crafting speed is based around assembling machine 3. Which I can't make yet. I'm guessing that's 1 because 2 is 0.75. And 1 is 0.5. Pollution 4, pollution 3. So the blue ones actually pollute less. So I guess it's always worth the upgrade. So maybe I should make a few more of those, but starting with 1. Okay, so if the goal here is to make red science, and we're using number 2 because it's faster and more, or less polluting, and we're going to be trying to set the red packs on the top side, so after they turn the corner, they're on the right side, and Because, yeah, that's where these are. Stuff I put in here that I make manually goes in there. So anyways, I guess I could swap those sides, but it doesn't matter. And I could add more to this, but again, I don't think it matters. We need copper and iron gear wheels. Okay, so copper seems easy enough. It's getting fed in here. Copper. We have a surprising lack of inserters. Alright, the other thing we needed, let's just feed this with another assembling machine. Whoops. Is that... Let's see, we could feed this same conveyor. We'll just feed it directly. The other thing we needed was the gear wheels. Those require iron plates. We've got steel feeding through here. I guess iron's coming up here. It's also down here. It's all over the place. I'll cut in here. So yeah, I find this interesting about Factorio because it's hard to stay fully organized. I mean, this kind of, you can see the attempts at organization, certainly, and there's a method to the madness, obviously, because I mean, you cannot end up with problems, flaws, if the enemy damages things, but also, yeah, I find like as I'm running around, if your cursor's over something and you hit the R button, it rotates it, and occasionally I'll do that accidentally. Or the right click picks something up, and occasionally I'll just like lean on my right mouse button too hard. Where? Yeah, I guess yeah, they can jump one more. We're out of those. Okay, we're gonna need more of those. So, and we're out of these. Yeah, that one's really simple because it has two ingredients. One is not a raw material; it's an intermediate component, I guess you would call it. The gear wheels don't have any function on their own; they're just required for a lot of stuff. I guess I can just go under and join up. And this will work kind of over time. So, oh, no, we failed. We failed at all the things. Let's wait. Okay. Okay. So, yeah, nope. Boy, none of these decisions end up making sense. I guess we've started that, so I'll continue that. Okay, we're joining two metals. That seems fine to me because often those end up both being important. I don't know if we're going somewhere with that. We may be bringing that up here, or we may be pulling from somewhere else. And it is wise to figure out priorities because, like, all my processing is coming up these two lines. This is kind of like my main bus of goods, and so you can see here I have plenty of copper because it's backed up, but moving smooth. It's in use, but we're producing more than we need. Iron, on the other hand, is kind of split here. We have as much as we need. Oh, this hasn't even started up because I didn't. Okay. So now both these irons, the iron splits here between research and feeding the steel and the defense, ammo production, and then just storing goods. We may shift this soon, but it makes sense to continue this first. Okay, we're now producing red there, so maybe while I'm talking I should make some green. So just as a reminder, well, some of this is new, but this is a good place to cover all this because I'm working up towards laser turrets, and laser turrets takes all four of these, and that's what I'm working towards. We just automated the first, which we should have done that a long time ago, and I should have done that before I talked about red, really, or as I talked about red anyways. Red takes copper plates and iron gear wheels. And we just automated that with 2 factories. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot, but what ends up happening is this is going to end up easily running continuously because these are basic resources, and production of the gear wheel is quite fast. I mean, you can see already that the basic inserter arms are not even fully in use. So the production is taking longer than the loading of ingredients, which is the ideal, but I'm just pointing out that. Anyway, so now we're getting red, and that'll back up on 1/2 of one of these conveyor loops. And I just have it looped so that eventually it'll just fill up. And we can see that the line is ready to be used for research. So, yeah, that's the easy one. Green is a logistics science pack. Automation, I guess this is just about making machines. But they're like self-contained research packs is the idea, I think. Like a testing box. Copper plate and gear wheel. Automation science pack. Iron plate, iron gear wheel, and the electronic circuit would take copper. Copper plate, though, could be used in another way. I mean, it could be a panel that conducts electricity. Anyways, it's some little testing pack is the concept, but the logistics science pack is a transport belt and an inserter. So again, I think it's kind of like a self-contained, well, it's like a testing module, I guess, science pack. But this testing module would be, you know, an inserter and a transport belt that could be used to, you know, test picking up and setting down things, inserter function, performance, etc. Anyways, military science pack takes a piercing rounds magazine, which is the second level of bullet. I'm producing plenty of those. Well, maybe I filled one box. But they're also filling our conveyors, which I see at our north wall. We're having some combat now. So, piercing rounds magazine, grenades, and walls. So, this might be like a testing range type thing, where you're testing bullets and grenades against walls. And, you know, that would help you develop, well, walls, grenades, explosives in general, I suppose. Your bullets as well as your firearms. Firearms. Yeah, the tricky one though for this laser turret we're trying to get is this chemical science pack, which is an engine, an advanced circuit, and sulfur. Chemical science pack. So I guess the key chemical is sulfur. I guess for burning, or I guess for reactions, but an engine and an advanced circuit. The best I can think is, you know, experiments that use, you know, the advanced circuit could obviously control the engine and monitor, you know, sensors for the experiment. The engine could be producing power. I guess we're using power to produce this pack, though. It's more likely creating, you know, rotation, power through rotation, or I mean, it could be converted in different ways. But anyways, the sulfur, I guess, is for the chemical testing. Anyways, that and again, I can make the science pack by hand, but the engines I need to make in an assembling machine. Well, I need to set that up, and then sulfur, engine, advanced circuit. The advanced circuit takes the green circuits, man, red circuit, green circuit, plastic, copper cable. So short term, I can be making blue science packs once I automate engines. Because I can make the advanced circuits by hand. I have plenty of plastic, copper, and the green circuits are just iron and copper. So, okay, I don't have grenades on me. Sorry, I can be doing a lot of this between recordings, but I'm just assessing what I have available. Okay, I've been making grenades and the bullets I need. Yeah, these basic magazines, we've just been converting directly into the piercing rounds because they're more effective. That puts the steel tip on that helps puncture. So okay, we've got a few of these reds that are building up, and they're already in the labs. And I made some greens by hand, so we can continue the research in there. Okay. So that was just two little guys. Transport belts and inserters. Iron plate, iron gear wheel, iron plate, iron gear wheel, electronic circuit, iron plate, copper cable. So you can see how the complexity of this, like, it's not like it's going from 1 to 2. I mean, this literally had 2 ingredients, and we're going, this new one has 2 ingredients, but those ingredients are fairly advanced. Yeah, fairly advanced. In this progression, they're quite simple, but transport belts and inserters are fairly advanced technology. Robotic arms. The conveyor belts are simpler. I guess these inserter arms, what do you call, they are electric. The burner inserters, yeah, I'm getting lost on theoretical history of engineering. Well, yeah, I still need to feed green, but we can produce green. I just need to make subcomponents and do I try and squeeze stuff in here? No, I should probably use this space for the military packs because I already have the components right here. Except for the walls. The walls. The walls are here. Oh, this is fun. I have cliff explosives. I figured I'd wait and yeah, this was probably green research anyways. A little bit into the military to get the explosives, and then you can get the cliff explosives, and these blow up these pesky cliffs. Noise. Used 3 of those. Did I? Okay. There's some music. So I'm not sure why I stopped feeding. Was I going to switch the rock supply? No. I wanted to save some rocks in case I needed them. Oh, we got 2 boxes of walls and 4 boxes, and we're being attacked. A wall was destroyed. That doesn't bother me. Oh, okay. So we can bring the. I'll just talk about my plans, and you probably don't need to see every step. That was a nice basic introduction. Oh, we could it's jumping the gun, kinda. Well, it's not. I mean, part of what's cool about this is this may seem complex, but it's a way to simplify things. That different aspects of the game, this is kind of like the colors of magic in Magic the Gathering. Um, the red science is kind of fundamental. It represents research, and so it's paired with almost everything. Maybe I should be, um, the ones we started with were just red, and that's all your basic tech that I went through in detail. I'm not going to go through green in as detail, but let's zip through it now. I won't talk about the ingredients or the trees or anything like that, but I'll just read what they are, and just so you get the idea of what's going on. I might introduce the concept if it's complex, but a lot of these are self-explanatory. So we'll go through everything I finished quick, and I guess we'll do this. The only one I haven't researched is stronger explosives. In terms of stuff that's just red or just red and green, it would appear, before this one, if I still had stuff open to me now. Now, things may open up later, but I doubt it, because usually the more complex research requires more of the research pack types. So the red's the stuff I haven't unlocked yet, but the red background. Red science we covered. So we've got military 2, which unlocks the gates for your walls that open automatically when you approach them. The military science packs, so and this directly unlocks the piercing rounds and the grenades. Fundamentals of military, I guess. But military is going to unlock all the more advanced weaponry and personal combat gear, offensive, defensive, mines, missiles, stuff for vehicles, etc. So, and stronger explosives I usually don't get for a while, because they can, if you're using explosives anywhere near your own buildings or whatever, you can do a lot of damage if you improve your explosives so that they do more damage explosively, if you know what I mean. If you catch my meaning, if you follow my drift, if you're picking up what I'm laying down. So yeah, and then there's the cliff explosives that we just demonstrated. And I was getting distracted by what military 2 opens up, but not all this is going to pop up right away. So, again, the logistic science packs is like more advanced science research, but it's focused in, conveyance of goods, transportation, stuff like that. So, logistics. Well, it's required to get military science packs, but then it's not required with science. Anyways, continuing on. This opens up your gray or black science, the military black science sounds good. That sounds right. Keep it off the budgets. Again, that's gonna as well unlock a lot of your military stuff. Automation 2 gives you the second level assembling machines, which I just demonstrated. Those can do, sorry, a little something in my throat there. These, I think the key, we covered that these are faster and more or less polluting, but I was going to say more efficient. I guess that's part of being faster and less polluting, or that's the byproduct. Anyways, I think these can make recipes with 3 ingredients, whereas tier 1 assembling machine, which I usually just call these factories, but I suppose the whole thing is the factory. Anyways, assembling machine is a small, localized, uh, yeah, maker of goods. So yeah, I think level 1 can only do. Oh, this also can do fluids. Primarily water, but I guess it does use oil at times. Anyways, continuing on, that unlocks other things like the concrete and fluid handling. Landfill lets you put earth where water is, which is super helpful at times. Fluid handling opens up the storage tanks, which are the buildings that hold fluid, which I'm using quite a bit, and pumps, which lets you push fluid between storage tanks and stuff and make sure stuff's flowing in one direction, not backfilling. And then all these barrels are, you know, empty and then filled with different ingredients. And I'm so glad they've improved all these icons, because there was a while when you couldn't tell. And I haven't used these much, but perhaps we'll play with these. Barrels allow you to move fluids in small quantities, as if they were, um, they're in smaller containers, so inserters and conveyor belts can handle them. That's the point. Whereas the other option is just to keep them in pipes, or to put them. There's now fluid cargo containers for the trains. Anyways, so yeah, fluid handling opens up all that. Flammables is going to open up your flamethrowers, your rocket stuff. You start getting into personal gear, uh, night vision. I don't use these, but it's still so quick to research eventually. Belt immunity. So the night vision, at night you can see better, but everything's green all the time. And I think that's what annoyed me about it, is you either have to take them on or take them off and put them on during the day-night cycles. I think you're green all the time. Maybe not. Maybe I disliked it because it's always drawing energy. Anyways, the other option to put lights around, or just, turn up your gamma and don't worry about it too much. Forget about it. Belt immunity, don't use this either, but it lets you walk across belts or stand on belts, and not be moved by them. I just find it's not really necessary. If I want to stand, I avoid belts, and I tend not to make my belts so dense that becomes difficult. The personal batteries, this converts batteries for personal use, so I think it's, the idea is it's the same battery, but you add connectors, wiring, a strap, um, a power display, stuff like that. So it's wearable, usable, can be connected to your other personal equipment while your suit probably distributes the power for all that. Now these modules can be made and inserted in the assembly machines. Speed module makes the machine faster, but it uses more energy. Productivity gives you additional output from the same number of ingredients, but it slows it down and uses more energy. And the third one, the efficiency module, reduces the energy consumption. So that doesn't affect output or speed, but it means that you're using less energy, which means you're either not putting as much demand on the grid, or diverting power from other needs, or using as much coal at night, or whatever your energy source is, whatever. So those set up kind of a triangle. They can be inserted. Obviously, it takes time and resources to produce these modules, but then it's going to affect that assembling machine. And right now I could be making speed modules to speed things up, but and there's some cases where productivity modules might be good instead of building more factories to produce a subcomponent. You could insert this in, to get like more gear wheels. I think that would be the best use of that. And then, of course, the efficiency module seems like the best in general because it's pure upside. But I tend to, I'm playing kind of a slow roll where I'm not rushing to any specific accomplishment, and just that attitude makes it a lot more enjoyable because you're not constantly pushing and racing to specific goals, but your goals kind of just flow in as you go. I make sure I'm like holding resources on me that I can use to produce goods I need at most times, since this has so far been a pretty manual run, but we're going to push through and get more automation. But anyways, these also become subcomponents for later tech and things. But to continue on, the chemical science pack opens up a lot of the more advanced research in terms of advanced electronics, better energy distribution. This, it does a whole area. Delivers power to a whole area better, I can explain that later. Laser's what I'm pushing for, because that's the defense I want. That'll let our power grid hugely assist with defense, and having bullets layers with lasers means that I have some that's not on the power grid in case. So there's some defense if the grid has a problem. Oops, what did I click on? Something more advanced. Where was I? So, anyways, more advanced material process, all bunch of chemical stuff. The advanced material processing gets us these better steel furnaces, which are more efficient and faster. They still consume burnable fuel, so I'm still feeding them. We'll get to electric furnaces fairly soon. Railways, I had built a couple of cargo wagons just on dummy tracks for storage, but you saw me change my mind at the start of this. But we could be building locomotives with cargo wagons to start conveying goods. I feel like I haven't gone far enough for that to be a necessity. And filling, if your entire length is safe, and you need to either protect the rail or the conveyor belt to keep the goods safe, one of the two. So, I haven't jumped into that. The automated rail transportation gives you the train stops, which lets you have them move around between stations automatically. They can fill up their cargo wagon, then move on. Circuit network, I've never played with this too much, but you can wire things with different colors of wires to arithmetic combinators, decider combinators, constant combinators, power switches. Programmable speaker is something that can send you alerts and signals, beeps, and you can use these to control the assembly machines, and so that some things will look at two input tracks, and if they're empty, then the machine won't do anything. If they're both full, various things like that. I find you don't need them. They're kind of complicated, but the truth is I've never explored them a lot. It's probably a more advanced game that I should explore at some point, because it would give you much better resource management. One example that comes to mind is I was talking earlier about how the conveyor belts, the way they feed things can determine priorities, and you might want to run by power first with coal before, your boilers, before you take coal to other places. It's not an issue if you keep the supply full, but that's where problems come in, is if you're not paying attention and you're building a bunch of stuff and your demand goes up, and then you're using more coal, and the what you're mining isn't keeping up, then your power can go down and you got to run to get the coal running again. Anyways, it can be a nuisance, but this would allow you to control things so that it would look at inputs and outputs, and with fewer things running. I suppose one problem with the way I play is that all the demands can get loaded on the grid, and then if the grid gets overloaded, everything shuts down. I'm smart enough. I know avoid that now, but it's kind of part of the learning process. Anyways, this is better for more advanced players who want a logical control over their whole factory. I guess the control I use is like an input-output control. And if you make sure that the inputs are supplied, then the output flows based on, its production time. So if you need more inputs, you increase the production of those components, or the mining of those resources. Anyways, yeah. Explosives, I think these aren't usable themselves. I think this is just a subcomponent. The gate, like I said, lowers automatically when you approach it. It also will lower for your trains and vehicles. The automated trains or vehicles that you're driving. So, yeah, this shows gate down, gate up, but yeah, that way it'll normally function like a wall for enemies. Engines is a subcomponent required for a lot of stuff, including, we already pointed out, the research, chemical research. Rail signals gives you controls over crossings, railway crossings, and it lets you stop trains before intersections, and etc., etc. Tool belt opens up more slots for you to hold things at the ready. what does it call it? Inventory. Expands your inventory. Oh. Huh. I guess that's all they consider you have on you. But then you've got the whole, I guess that's in like a storage tool belt. Well, maybe it's tool belt versus backpack. Could be that simple. Move stuff between them. Tool belt's just a lot easier to get to. Anyways, oil processing gets you your pump jacks, your oil refineries, your chemical plants, your basic oil processing, which converts crude oil to petroleum gas, and your solid fuel processing, which converts petroleum gas to solid fuel. That can be burned instead of coal, but so far I'm just using coal for everything. Unlike automobilism, which gets you your basic car, which I haven't made yet. I don't think I've even made an engine yet. Modular Armor. This is the first suit that can, instead of just providing armor, it actually has its own grid for equipment modules. And have I made this yet? What am I? Yes, most definitely. So I have filled mine with a bunch of personal batteries, 2 energy shields, which those provide me more defense, and they're powered off these portable solar panels. You need at least some battery. I don't know if this is balanced right, but the solar panels charge the batteries during the day, and then I guess at night you're just depleting batteries, but right now the only thing I'm using them for is the energy shields. So as I get damaged, that will provide some protection first. And then armor, and then health. So, and then, later it's going to unlock all this other stuff. The Power Armor Mark II is going to have a bigger grid and, more armor, presumably. And we can make, the green ones we've already unlocked. The inner shield we've got on us. The night vision and belt immunity we're not using. Personal battery holds the power, and obviously the solar. Where's the solar? Is that up above? Huh, don't see the personal solar here. Oh, maybe it's part of this. It is this portable solar panel. They just have a lot more advanced. I guess that's your backpack and battery sitting next to 3 solar panels. I guess that's the serving suggestion. I went with 6. Anyways, 7? 5? I don't know. So, okay, the other things we can build here in a bit, just as a preview, are legs that move us faster, robo ports, I'll get into that later, discharge defense. I think when we're hurt, this uses energy to hurt them, but it's triggered by being hit. Oh, it pushes them back and stuns them. I could be reading these. I guess you could be reading these too, you selfish jerk. What do I got to read everything? Do you got eyeballs? Actually, I don't know that, and I apologize if you don't. If you have any vision problems or personal laser defense. I'm more excited about the defense turrets, the laser turrets, which we can put by our walls because I'm, that kind of player. Let the walls do the work, let the turrets do the work. But this is one that's on us and will be nice to have once we get there. It relies on getting the turrets first, but this is a miniaturized version that would be on your shoulder or back or something. But it again pulls from your power, your batteries, and it's much better once you have better batteries, and the portable fusion reactor, which creates power day and night, unlike the portable solar panels. So yeah, that goes on a shoulder. They kind of show that there. So, okay, moving on quickly, we covered the portable solar panel. Modules is what unlocked what we already covered: speed, efficiency, and productivity. How'd that happen? Electric energy distribution. This is what got us medium electric poles, which cover a greater range. Yes. They don't increase the span between poles, but they give you full coverage, full power delivery between poles for the first time. And then the big electric poles, those span a huge difference, but they have a very small supply area because they're only meant to travel, to cover great distances. So you need to use them in combination with smaller poles nearby. To really feed large areas. But one of these alone can, you can put a couple defense towers next to them or something like that. It's just hard to do much production around them. Anyways, the batteries are the subcomponent needed for the laser research and robotics, and our accumulators for our power grid and the personal and all the different battery things that need batteries. As you get into more automated weaponry and such, the energy accumulators, those hold power for when we have surges of need. The stack inserters got us these green arms that can grab, what are they doing? 1 plus 3. So they're grabbing 4 items at a time. I don't use those much, but they're really good, I guess, with cargo wagons, because they transfer large quantities at once. I suppose these also be good, yeah, with these boxes I'm trying to fill quickly. It takes a fast inserter as a subcomponent, and the stack filter is just the, filter inserter combined with the stack inserter. The sulfur processing needed for explosives, batteries, and the chemical research. Advanced electronics lets you turn the green chips into more advanced circuits using plastic and stuff. Logistics 2 gets you the better, faster transport belts, underground belts, splitters, fluid wagon. Jeez, this is a long list. Gets you the train wagons that hold fluid. Lab research. This just has sped up our research over time. Plastics. This lets us make plastic out of coal and petroleum. Weapon shooting speed. This is improving my rifles that I use. The cliff explosives I demonstrated modifies the map. The solar energy. Those are, buildings that pull in power from the sun, which is a much less polluting source than burning coal. So 2/3 of the time during the day, we're using that primarily. And we'll keep expanding that as we go. Concrete lets you move even faster compared to the kind of bricks you could use before. And what, asphalt, or what was the other? Maybe it's cement, then concrete. Then later we can get refined concrete. I could start making that. Anyways, they're each, like a 10% boost to speed. Each upgrade. Well, at this upper end, I think refined is the top. I think they also speed up. No, it just says walking speed. Anyway, moving on. Mining productivity speeds up your mining, or does it pull out more resources? Increase yield from mining drills and pump jacks. I didn't know that. That's good. Get that Earl. Inserter capacity we've upgraded to this tier 2 got us our stack inserter up to I think 4 now. But non-stack inserters I think all gain a bonus, so they're all gathering 2 at a time now. I think. Anyways. Rocketry gets us these rocket launchers and rockets that the rocket launchers launch. How many rockets could a rocket launcher launch if a rocket launcher could launch rockets? Energy shield, it absorbs damage. Yeah, insert that energy shield. Physical projectile damage, that's making my gun turrets and my rifles better, and my guns, stuff that uses. Okay, are we done? We're done. Whew. Oh, and those last 3 pushed into military, which I didn't really pay attention to, but there it was. I guess those are the only 3 military I've researched so far. And all of those take automation, logistics, and military. I think there are some... they all seem to. So I guess the best way to conceive research is like pyramids, like stepped or tiered pyramids, because they all require this foundation of red, like the basic testing pack, research pack, science pack. Red. Everything is red. And then your second, of course, is green, which pushes you towards logistics. Issues of transport and movement. Automation, logistics. So now I've got some military stuff opened up, which puts, layers military on those first 2 tiers. Foundation of automation and the platform of logistics. So these have a 3rd level of military, and there's a bunch of stuff that has 3rd level of chemical. So I suppose, yeah, red science is fundamental research. Automation. Green science seems to be also fundamental, but a 2nd layer. So red and green function a similar way, but they only work together. I mean, you always need red if you need green, but then you can have a different top on the pyramids, and you've got some that are topped with black, the military pyramids. You've got the military research. Yeah, it's a conceptual pyramid. Pyramids are only in my head. Anyways, and then, yeah, you've got the blue, the chemical research, the chemical pyramids. But then you also have a whole bunch, which I suppose, yeah, the military and the chemical go together. So it seems like the blue would be on top of the black if it was just a stepped pyramid. But it could also be like side by side, or half blue, half black on top of the rest. But my point is, they seem the black is kind of its own path with the military. I think the blue does seem like another fundamental level. It's just not all military requires that third tier beneath it. And then eventually we're going to get into the purple, which, as long as we're talking about all this. Oh, and then there's the silver too. And there's yellow. Jeez. Okay, there they are. So the purple is going to be production, which is going to require rails, electric furnaces, and productivity modules. And the yellow is going to be utility, which requires processing units, flying robot frames, and low-density structures. This is getting into the really advanced stuff. So this is focused on like drone things, I think. And then eventually we get to silver science. So there's like 6. I think we're up to 6. Yeah, this takes 5. No, military is not there. Military is 6th. So science is a 7th. I don't. Well, I'm prepared enough for 8 colors with the way I set up. Good. So this is space. This is kind of the final stuff. The most advanced research. I guess the idea is because this is more upgrades to things. But I guess the idea is you're learning from things that you found in space or studied from space or whatever. Anyways, and yes, eventually you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this doesn't need purple. Huh. So yeah, there's kind of fundamental sciences that build up these foundational platforms as I'm imagining them. And then in a way, like military seems almost like a plating or a coating, like a surface treatment for the pyramid. Gosh, I don't know why I try to dive so deeply into these metaphors, but we've covered the green science, and we've introduced all of the science tiers, and we've talked somewhat conceptually about those. We've only got these 4 so far opened up, but from what I was saying, I guess they're just different components of research, but the way they've layered them works pretty well, and I appreciate. Oh, I could. Oh, that's how much I could produce. So these build up, just a few of each type available. Now it's waiting for military or chemical. What we're researching a military, so. Oh, I got a bunch of grenades on me. What? I don't. Oh, the coal is for the grenades. Anyways, so yeah, I can. Right, I can eventually build the 4th track and be ready for 8 sciences, and I think there's only 7, so we can fill. I said 8th track, but it's the 4th track, but you've got 2 sides on each track. So yeah, I'll probably automate green off camera up here. I was thinking about automating military, but I'll do that off camera as well. I think that'll fit in here just fine. It's going to be using bullets as a component, and then I'll have to figure out how to get these grenades over, as well as walls that I mentioned. Conveyor for walls coming from down where the walls are stored and produced. So yeah, and then this space up here, we'll probably put grain down south. It's a little bit more complicated. We've got to make the transport belts and inserters in assembling machines, and then we'll feed in. Yeah, actually, we may feed into this conveyor and bring it across the road, under the road. So, yeah, we're being attacked occasionally because we've expanded quite far, and the pollution has gotten pretty extensive. So, where there's kind of blinking around these villages, or yeah, I suppose that they're growths. My fellow humans would be mad at me if I called them villages. They're really more like pustules. But yeah, there's one here blinking quickly. This is blinking quickly, so these two are being aggravated. Here's an assault occurring. If we zoom in, we can actually see them because of our towers. Shouldn't be an issue. Yeah, they die pretty quick. So the 3 villages on the east have been attacking this east wall, and that's why I've built it up quite thick with wall, because that just lets them waste their time chewing into it, and it also keeps the spitters back so that it's harder for them to spit on my towers. And then in the southwest, I think we're aggravating these 2 villages. And then up north, we're aggravating 1, and west, we're aggravating 1. So, but they just run at these walls and die pretty quick. I mean, they kind of build up a party of sufficient size, and then that party goes in a wave. But you could see there it wasn't much of an issue. Solutions really are to deal with those growths. At one point, this whole east thing was empty of enemies. I was able to run all through this, but I never secured it fully with walls. And now I would either need, I think, slightly better equipment to go in by foot, or I would need to develop a tank or something. I guess I could try the rocket launcher from a distance to deal. Oh, this is so many underground worms, though. Yeah, see, I I sent a path out here, but they've filled in anyway. So I could certainly build a wall, further west that could replace this wall eventually. And if I built it starting down here, I could pierce. That's right. I was going to call these blades. I could send a new blade, well, probably down from up here to pierce these growths. Lance. Lance is a good word, too. The West Lance. Anyways, now we're getting complicated, though, because this is going to be a south blade from the west blade that is a new west wall extending. Anyways, that's also going to let us get a new source of stone secured, which is good because that's the other thing I depleted in here, the stone and the iron. Coal, I'll probably get. Actually, the stone I could pull from here, 2 million, almost 4 million. There's a tiny bit of coal. More coal. Anyways, we'll need to get copper eventually, but wasn't there stone? No, there's a little bit more coal down there. Yeah, we've got more enemies here too, but they're not being aggravated by pollution. There's a little blip on this island too. Jeez, that's a pretty big. Okay. Anyway, so there's things going on. That's where our oil's coming from. But if we send a blade through this, then our new wall can be even further west, probably along here, or we could keep pushing. Because of this west blade, we could keep running temporary blades south. One here to pierce these two, one here to pierce this, one to get these two maybe, and extend it a little bit further to get these two, and then we'd have a new wall, or these three. Oh, there's more coal and more uranium. Or I can go northeast for uranium. Anyways, this is where we're at. Copper should last us a while. Oh, we could blow up some things to even out our grid here. Fill in some places where there's missing towers. Actually, we have the better. Well, we're so grid based. We may just keep the grid for a while. Use the more advanced structures, either just in new areas where we want more use of the square footage, like maybe solar panels. These are kind of disruptive being mixed in there. Not too bad. Anyways, so yeah, I'm gonna get green and black automated, and then the blue takes the chemical stuff. So yeah, I'll do the engine automation too. But probably next time I see you, I'll still be making some blue research by hand. But I'll have some more of that finished. And more to show off. Insert catch for. Stop hitting my towers! What's going on? How bad is it? Leave my wall alone. Okay, just a little damage to the wall, that's fine. We can repair that. look forward to it. Noof tomorrow, and insert catchphrase here.